Now, prepare your extended universe.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our Drive In Theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 79 of the Video Rangers podcast. I'm Mike Ranger, going at it alone today, and today we're going to talk about my weekend and my visit to Drive In VHS Fest at the Mahoning Drive In Theater in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. And let me tell you guys, this was a really fun experience. The event was brought to you by, of course, the Mahoning Drive In Theater and Lunchmeat VHS. And basically what you got was 2 nights of movies, vendors, and games, with the option to purchase an overnight camping pass. And this was really cool. You know, you got there. First off, it's a really big screen. You know, you had a very big parking lot. Anybody that's ever been to a drive-in, knows, they haven't changed much. If anything, we have a lot less. So I rode out there with Rick Mancrush from the Poop Culture podcast. And it was about a 2.5-hour ride, which was probably honestly the worst part of it was the ride, because it was a bit of a ride. And unfortunately, we only stayed for one day. We didn't do the overnight camping. I actually didn't know that was a thing until I got there. It's kind of on me. I love the event. I'm glad that it returned for a second year. I like that people are doing things like this. Obviously, anybody who's a VHS enthusiast or just loves going to the drive-in. I grew up going to the drive-in, so I love it when drive-ins are showing, a little bit more retro stuff. And this was, not only did we get movies that were being played on VHS on a drive-in movie screen, but we got some really hard to find stuff. Not necessarily the greatest stuff, at least for me. I'd say the downside to it really was, these were low budget movies, but I get what they were going for. I hadn't seen most of these, and since I only went one night, I only got access to, the first 3 movies. And honestly, it was a 2.5-hour ride. We left after the second movie. So I'm just going to go through the lineup real quick. On Friday, you got 555, 1988, Ozone, 1995, and Splatter Farm, 1987. So these movies, honestly, going into it, I had never heard of. But I had heard of the movies played on Saturday, but we couldn't go on Saturday. Saturday, the lineup was Hack-A-Lantern, 1988. That one I've seen before. I'm on Instagram. I see what people collect, and that's always, that's one that I'm always looking out for. Never had seen it, so I really wish I was there for Saturday. That was followed by Backwoods Marcy, 1999. That one I also hadn't heard of. But the next movie, I see a lot on Instagram, and it's called Blood Diner, 1987. So I'm really upset that I couldn't stay for Saturday. I feel like if I had stayed and I had done like the overnight camping, I would have had, a little bit better of an experience. I did have a good time, but 2.5 hours of a ride and to get to, and really what I went for was not really so much the movies. I went there to go see because I knew people were going to have good tapes. So that's what I went to go see. There really was first off, they said there was going to be 20 to 30 vendors, and I am aware that Saturday was a much busier day, and I think a lot of the vendors did show up on Saturday, but there was really probably only about 15 that first day. I didn't really go by and just count. I did go through the tapes pretty fucking quick, which was a little upsetting because you drove 2.5 hours. But the quality of what people had, you saw some of a lot of uncommon stuff. You saw stuff that, you're not always going to be finding when you're going into your Goodwills or you're going to your flea markets. You're finding most of these on eBay, and, eBay, the prices are high for certain things. And, you don't want to, nobody wants to go out and pay $50 for a rare VHS. They want to find it for $1 because that makes the whole hunting experience that much more exciting. Now, that being said, I've paid $25 for a tape. I've considered paying $50 for a tape. I don't go heavy into VHS collecting like I used to, but I will go out and get things that are only available on the VHS format. This was a great place to go meet some people that are, into the same thing you are and like this schlocky, 80s rental, late night, fright night TV host kind of atmosphere. And it really was a fun experience. Everybody was really cool. A lot of people talking, interacting. I saw this one chick walking around with like a camcorder. I don't know what she was doing, but I'm sure we'll see that soon. So I did buy a couple things while I was there. I didn't get as much as I thought I would, but I think like I was kind of like holding out to see like, maybe I'd go through the tapes a second time or something and, see something I didn't see the first time. But I got to say, for what I did pick up, prices were really fair. So I picked up Cutting Class on VHS, and I think I paid about $2 for that, and I'm good with that. Then the next movie I picked up, which was Screwball Academy, and that one I was excited about because I love collecting sex comedies on VHS. The boxes are always cool, and the movies, they always have like something that's there's always at least one good idea in all of these movies. So I picked up Screwball Academy with Colleen Camp. It's a Video Treasures release. No mold, thank God. It's even got some of the seal still on it. It's only cut at the bottom. Now, Cutting Class, I got to say, aside from the sticker on it, man, the box is in really good condition. This is a Republic Pictures release. Brad Pitt in it, I can't wait to, Roddy McDowell. I can't wait to get around to watching this one. And this one, I want to say I paid $3 for. Now, I did get another tape, but this tape I actually got on our way there. We passed a thrift store, like indoor flea market. So I walked in and I found this table, and me and Rick are going through the tapes, and I ended up getting a copy of Firewalker with Chuck Norris and Louis Gossett Jr. for 50 cents. And it's the Canon release, with the media on the front of it. This is one I've been wanting to see, and I haven't gotten around to buying it on Blu-ray or VHS. So for 50 cents, now I get to watch it, and another really good condition box. And I'll post all these. They'll be on my Instagram, so you can check out exactly what I got. So just go over to Video Rangers Podcast on Instagram or Facebook, and you will see it. Last thing I got, which is cool because I'm actually going to review this, just a short review. When I'm done talking about the event. This one stood out to me. I was looking around for his tapes. I get to this booth, and this guy sees that I have a copy of Screwball Academy, and he tells me that, oh man, if you're into Screwball Academy, here's this movie I produced. It's on Blu-ray. It's $10. It's a good price. And his name was Henrique Quarto. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And you can actually go just type that into Instagram. You can find him too and see what he's working on. And so he's got a booth, and he shows me this movie called Horn Dog's Beach Party that he produced. It came out in 2018. And he said it was like, if I'm into sex comedies, I might like this. I didn't purchase it, but I'm going to get around to doing it because another movie caught my eye. And that movie is WNUF Halloween Special. And I'm going to go into more detail about it, but the box just really stood out to me. They did have a DVD and they had a VHS. The VHS was $15. The DVD was $10. I just ended up going with the DVD. Honestly, guys, most times when I'm buying a DVD, it's because I might plan on taking this movie or show or something to somewhere to watch it. And odds are somebody's not going to have a VCR set up in their primary viewing room, if they even have one at all. Really, VHS at this point are for my own enjoyment. Everybody else thinks I'm fucking weird. I didn't get a chance to pick up Horn Dog Beach Party while I was there, but I will pick it up, and I definitely recommend you guys go check out that movie. I believe it is on Prime if you have that. and just take a look at it. It was really cool to actually meet somebody that was like involved in making something. So overall, I thought that the prices were fair. I love the atmosphere. The movies were played on VHS. I wasn't the biggest fan of the movies I saw, but I only stayed one night, and really, that's on me more than anything else. I should have stayed the whole weekend to get the full experience. But I must say, the quality of the vendors, the tapes that they had, the atmosphere, everything was cool, and I really would like to attend next year if they do that. And you should just really go visit the Mahoning Drive In Theater on Facebook or Instagram, and they're always doing something. I think they have a Gremlins weekend coming up. There's a lot of retro stuff going on there, and if that's what you're into, which I'm assuming you are because you're listening to this, that's definitely a place. If it's under 3 hours, man, it's worth the fucking ride. But some other people you should check out is, of course, Lunchmeat VHS. You can find them over at Instagram. Just type in Lunchmeat VHS, Mahoning Drive In Theater. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. Definitely go over and check out the Wall of VHS on Instagram. He's a great tape collector, and he also had a booth at the event. Definitely has some great stuff. So if you like following VHS on Instagram, he's definitely a great place to start. But yeah, that was the event. Rick and I had a good time. We wish we could have stayed longer. We wish we could have stayed 2 days, and maybe next year we'll be able to do something like that. Even if they do another event, that I'm into it, I'll take the ride, man. It was worth it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, now let's talk about WNUF Halloween Special. I'm so glad that I took a shot on this movie. I mean, I got to admit, the cover sold me. This is definitely something that you should go look up. It's got that feel, man. Like, these guys, they knew they wanted to go for a level of authenticity on this project, and I totally fucking got it. This, like, as soon as I saw it, the box, and if you look it up, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You knew, like, this is something that's going to be, like, worth your time. Especially if you're a VHS enthusiast, this is something for you. So, WNUF Halloween Special was a movie that was released in 2013 on October 18th. It doesn't have a rating. Runtime of 1 hour and 23 minutes, and it was made on a budget of about $1,500, which, it doesn't have a gross as far as I know, but I'm sure they've made that back by now. And I gotta be honest with you, like, from watching the movie, what they were able to do with that $1,500 was, like, so fucking clever. It was a different way to tell a story that would appeal to anyone that is just into that, that stuff that we grew up with. Anybody that was a child in the 80s. I don't care if you were born in 1982 or 1975. Anybody that got to experience a little bit of the 80s and got to experience, even if you were a kid in the 90s, you were still seeing the relics of the 80s laying around, and in the 70s, and you had that. It's that pre-cell phone, pre-internet. News isn't coming at me so fucking fast. I don't know about it until fucking 30 hours after it's fucking happened. It's anybody who can remember that, like waiting online with your grandmother at the DMV and staring at that fucking vending machine that should be candy, but it's just a bunch of fucking pens. This is something for you. The tagline for the film is the Weber house really haunted? Do ghosts really exist? This Halloween, join WNUF TV 28's Frank Stewart and a team of paranormal experts as they seek to unravel the mystery. Now, that tagline is actually basically the plot at the same time, but I'm still going to read the back of the box. Now, if you're still confused, like, what the fuck is this movie? What was this, a real Halloween special? Answer is no. What this movie really is like a found footage movie posted as a television broadcast with commercials strung out through it to recreate the feel of, taping something or watching something on TV. Like you're watching something on TV, it's getting to the good part, boom, you're hit with fucking 5 minutes of commercials. This is public access. This is VHS, grain to it. It's absolutely fantastic. Like to just sit, like, and I admit that it's not for everybody, but to just watch it as and experience it, because that's really what I feel. I feel like this isn't so much a movie as it is just a fucking experience. But for me, this was a great experience. I don't think it's going to be like that for everyone. And I'll get into why I don't think it'll be for everyone. I can tell you that my wife got bored within 30 minutes, but So I'm just going to read to you the back of the box. For decades, obscure film collectors and lovers of esocentric cinema have sought it. Finally, the search is over. Originally broadcast live on October 31st, 1987, the WNUF Halloween Special is a stunning expose of terrifying supernatural activity that unfolded at the infamous Weber House, the site of ghastly murders. Local television personality Frank Stewart leads a group of paranormal investigators, including Catholic exorcist father Joseph Matheson and prolific husband and wife team Louis and Claire Berger. Together, the experts explore the darkest corners of the supposedly haunted Weber house, trying to prove the existence of the demonic entities within. Did they find the horrific truth or simply put superstitious rumors to rest? Compiled from the highest quality source material available, this DVD features the full program, including the original commercials that ran during the notorious broadcast. So this movie is proposed to you. The thing I can compare it to the most, a mixture of the Blair Witch Project and the War of the Worlds broadcast with Orson Welles. This one isn't nearly as believable as the War of the World ones, but that one, it was radio and you had way more to be left to the imagination. But this is really, really well done. I love how they achieved the VHS effect. I mean, they had to re-record the tape. They had to run it 3 times on VHS. And the way they promoted this fucking thing through some kind of whisper campaign of leaving a bunch of tapes around a convention in fucking Pennsylvania. Just great idea. I love silly stuff like that. Like these guys, I got to say, I watch this movie and I'm like, these guys get it. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to make these movies like they think they're making an 80s movie. Sometimes it's just like you're looking at it like this is unwatchable, but these guys found a really creative way. They're not trying to recreate an 80s movie. They're trying to recreate fucking 80s, early 90s, sitting down in front of the TV, and maybe you're watching some public access TV with some reporters that are kind of like they're doing their best. They're better than the average guy, but they're not quite good enough for NBC New York or some shit like that. And them just trying to put together, like they get into the Halloween spirit, and the set is like the newscasters are dressed up like a witch and Dracula, and you get that whole like hokey local kind of feel, and it's absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. Absolutely great for me. This movie was directed by Chris LaMartina, and there's also about 6 other directors involved, and I'm assuming that's got something to do with the commercials, because from what I understand is the commercials are a mixture of stock footage and like redone voiceovers. They're really done pretty fucking well, man. I mean, it's really impressive, honestly. This, when it came out, had a limited VHS run of about 300 copies, and that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bummed that I didn't just pay the $15 for the VHS while I was there. I am regretting that. LaMartina, I hope I'm saying his name right. I hope I'm not butchering this. Said he wanted to make people remember why they fell in love with VHS, and it's an homage to VHS and public access television. It's really, I've read that some quotes said it was like a love letter to the 80s, and it is. It's fantastic. Movie was promoted through a whisper campaign, like I said, and just fantastic. I love that. That's fucking awesome. And I'd like to do something like that, like just promote something by leaving a bunch of VHS around. But reality is, you'd have to go to a VHS convention to do something like that. You couldn't just do that now. I mean, who fucking, some kid, my nephew comes over and picks up a tape. He thinks it's a fucking book. It's got the feel and the heart of what was available to those of us who used to get our news fucking just from watching TV, you know, with the local commercials. It's campy, it's warm, it's fuzzy, it's 80s nostalgia. It just, you know, it pulls at all my nostalgic strings, man. It's fucking great. It's a crackerjack prize. I like the fast forward rewind effect. It's got a really authentic feel, and honestly, it's got such an authentic feel that actually might be one of its faults. These guys, like I said, they definitely just get it. I can't help but think of Super Dracula, and you really, if you want to find out more about Super Dracula, you got to go over to VHS Bandits on Instagram and hit them up, and they will be more than happy to talk to you about Super Dracula, because it's got that public access feel, man. It's got that, you know, Rodney McDowell over in Fright Night. You know, it's got that Elvira. It's got that Vampira, you know, Grandpa from the Munsters, fucking Wayne's World. You know, it's just, it's got it. It's great. Now, for some people, this will be a one-off. For some people, they won't even get through it. I could see how someone could add this to their Halloween movie watching rotation every year. Like I said, I really recommend this. This is for nostalgia junkies. This is not so much a movie. It is an experience. You know, everybody involved in the movie did a great job. Paul Frankenhoff, I don't know how to say his name, but he plays Frank Stewart. He's the main reporter. He sells it. Really, and I can see he's got a lot of credits. You know, this guy did a great job. The people that play the newscasters, Leanne Chasm and Richard Cutting, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names. You guys sold it. It was great. Nicolette LeFay plays the Veronica Stanzi. She's the producer or the newscast producer, but she was really good. I gotta say, like, if I gotta talk about the negatives, and there are a couple, and I'm just being honest, there may be too many commercials. I did, after a while, didn't really want to watch the commercials anymore. I kind of just wanted to get back to the newscast, and that frustration is authentic, and it might be authentic to a fault. And that's really the only negative that I have about it. Now, I didn't want to spoil anything for you. I didn't want to get into details, but so I wanted to let you know, like, you know, where can you find it? How much does it cost? Well, you can go over to Amazon, and if you have Prime, you know, you can watch it. It's there. But if you'd like a copy of the DVD on Amazon, it's $16.91. I think it's worth it. I think this is like a cool thing to own. Like, even though it's on Prime for free, this is one I would still buy, because I feel like, you know, this might vanish from fucking digital streaming one day, and then I got a copy of it, and maybe I can fool someone into thinking it's real. Now, at the event, the DVD was $10, so I got a good deal there. And like I said, the VHS was $15, and I really wish I did buy that. You know, the problem with it is it's a sealed VHS, and I don't really want to open a sealed VHS. I don't know. I feel like if I get a sealed VHS, even if it's a newly made one, I just feel like I shouldn't open it. I should just leave it be and try to fucking find, like, what I'll do is, like, if I can get 2 copies or something, you know, I'll do that, man. I'll fucking buy 2 copies. I'll open one of them. I won't feel so fucking bad. It's probably like the dorkiest thing I've ever said on the show, but maybe not. Hopefully next week we can return to our regularly scheduled broadcasting with Chris Ranger. Hopefully he returns. He's been watching a ton of Different Strokes lately. He's given me a lot of updates. I want to read, just so we feel like Chris is here. Let's read the last text that he sent me. And this is 6:48 a.m. because Chris works overnights. Today's episode of Different Strokes, Arnold's initiation into the cool club at school jeopardizes his friendship with a mildly retarded dishwasher. That's just fucking great. Those are the texts I look forward to. That's Chris and I's relationship right there. Oh my God, look what's on TV. Who the hell else? This is the only person that's going to give a shit. You know, my wife doesn't care. I'll just text him. I don't care if it's 6 a.m. It's the gift that keeps on giving. All right, thanks, guys. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I know it was by myself. Definitely Please go check out the Mahoning Drive In Theater. Go check out the Wall of VHS. Go check out Lunchmeat VHS. Please visit Dueling Decades over at Instagram. They just got on. They're getting a lot of followers really quickly, and they're posting some really good stuff. Not to mention, you should listen to Dueling Decades on Poop Culture Podcast, because that's coming up once a month, and that's when the 80s battle the 90s in the ultimate pop culture showdown. So until next time, guys, if you've seen a bad movie, we're ready to believe you.
What you just heard was a podcast. Way to www.poopculture.com.
Visita Sprint esta semana y encuentra las mejores ofertas. Apresúrate y visita una tienda Sprint hasta el 26 de enero y recibes por cuenta nuestra el nuevo iPad con una pantalla retina más grande de 10.2 pulgadas y teclado inteligente. Además, te damos $100 al cambiarte. iPad de séptima generación con 32 GB por $0 al mes luego de crédito mensual de $19.17 que se aplica dentro de 2 facturas por 24 meses. Con verificación de crédito y nueva línea en plan elegible. Si cancela temprano, el saldo restante será exigible. Impuestos se pagan al momento de la venta. Requiere teléfono activo en la cuenta. Con tarjeta Mastercard prepagada que se envía luego de traspaso. Inscripción en línea y 60 días de servicio en una nueva línea.